Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to our technical session 60. Myself, Richa Sharma, and this session would be moderated by me. On the behalf of the Global Knowledge Research Foundation and the GR Solistic LLP, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the fourth World Conference on Information System for Business Management. The fourth edition of the conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event was held yesterday in Bangkok, Thailand, and the virtual event is being held through Zoom, that is today and tomorrow. I hope you will enjoy the knowledgeful and interactive session through the day. In this session, we have a 10 presentation. Each presentation will be given 10 minutes for presentation and 2 minutes for question answer. On 9 minutes, I will raise a gentle reminder. There is another request to all the participants that you all stay connected with us till the closing remark. If you have any query and any update, write it to me in the chat box. Just before we get started, I would like to introduce our chair of this session, Kalpesh Popat Sir is an associate professor at Marwari University, Rajkot, Gujarat, India. With over 20 years of teaching experience, he has published more than 30 research papers in international conferences and journals. His research interests include mobile computing, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence and machine learning, and cybersecurity. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, I would like to start with papers. I would like to call our first presenter, Devesh, to present his paper on a comprehensive review of communication protocols, wired, wireless, IoT, and beyond.
Screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
So, shall I start presentation?
Sure. Yes.
So good afternoon, everyone present here, and thank you for also giving me this opportunity to speak on one of my close to heart topics. My name is Vedansh Wadia, and I am currently in my final year doing my electronics and communication from Chartered University in Gujarat. So today's my topic is titled Comprehensive Review of Communication Protocols, which are mainly wired, wireless, IoT, and the beyond technology or the future technologies. In this, we would be exploring all the backbone technologies that power our connected world. Uh, one second. Moving forward, the one of the basic question is that what actually protocols are and why do these protocols matter in our society? So communication protocols are basically the rules and regulations which every system or genre has to follow to for particular communication or particular talking to each other. So communication protocols are always being invisible backbone of our digital infrastructure. In a research paper, I found out we would be nearly closing up to 29 billion connected devices by the year of 2027, and mainly more than 23 to 24 billions would be connected to IoT devices. So as we are switching from proper hardware to IoTs, now majority of these communication protocols will be connected to IoT devices. As the demand of protocols are also increasing, we are also asking for more speed, more security, and energy efficient devices, as every smart devices, every industrial sensors and autonomous systems rely basically on the fundamentals of protocols. So it is also in great demand nowadays. So starting from the first, and we all know the protocol, which is Ethernet. So it was launched during 1960s and 1970s. So the birth of Ethernet established the foundation of a network communication. Starting from just 20 kbps speed, now we are reaching up close to a 40 gbps transfer speed of Ethernet. So Ethernet has seen a significant growth in our history. So starting from 1970s, after its introduction, also, offices and data centers are increasing in numbers, which use Ethernet protocols mainly for the communication systems, as they are very cheap, they are very reliable, and they are very fast nowadays in communication protocols. Also, today, as the increase of autonomous and industrial expansion is going on, so we are also adapting to new protocols such as we have advanced Ethernet, such as CAT cables are also being developed. So to summarize, this Ethernet, despite being the oldest network standard in our history, Ethernet is still evolving. It is also being resilient and it is adaptive with our modern applications. Moving forward, now I've completed the wired protocols. Now we are moving forward with wireless and IoT protocols. So wireless protocols such as Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi 6 has been currently being used nowadays. 5G is also prevalent in the society, and 6G is also under development. So what do these 5G and 6G provide to us? So these protocols, they work on very high speed. They're very reliable, but the range is very small considered to these other networks like WAN networks and everything. LoRaWAN and NB-IoTs have long range, they're low power, but they are only constructed to IoT devices only. And threads we are using from since the birth of Ethernet. So threads are basically the mesh networks that we currently use in our labs and everything. So these provide very short range of area communication, but the plus point is that they work on very low energy compared to 5Gs and LoRaWANs. So, moving forward, what are the actual key drivers of protocol evolution? I have summarized into 4 points. So, the things are the how these are performed, their reliability, their efficiency, and the future perspective of security. So, if your protocols gives ultra low latency, they have higher throughput values like 5Gs and 6Gs. They have real-time processing capabilities, and they have deterministic behavior such as Bluetooth. So we can determine and we can also reverse engineer and we can also advance these things just by having these four things. And the efficiency, as I mentioned earlier, in as we are using means there are 29 billion devices connected. They all require power. So if they are not energy efficient and if they don't work on low battery systems, so they are of no use. So if they're power efficient, if they use very less amount of electricity compared to our previous versions, so they are good protocols in short. And also in for future perspective, earlier we didn't focus much on security purposes, but nowadays as we are advancing in a quantum world, so encryption is the basic standard. Encryption is a basic standard, so encryption of our data is also relevant in our society. So next, one of the future things that I want to talk about is time-sensitive networking. As we are using n number of devices nowadays, we are also dependent on real-time communication rather than just sitting and waiting for us to receive message. We are even the Zoom call is going on in real time. So earlier, all of these things didn't existed. So this time-sensitive networking is very efficient and it is very reliable in nowadays. So where are these time sensitive networking is used? So basically in manufacturing, as I mentioned in the first point, in manufacturing where every millisecond matters. So like in the image, this is of a factory uh, where each and every component, every millisecond of their placement matters. So even if one of them discoordinates with another self, we would not get the desired output in autonomous vehicles like Teslas and Google taxis. They work on real-time networks. So they use hundreds and two hundreds of sensors communicating with each other at real time. So this is where time series networking plays an important role. And nowadays robotics, as robotics is on a boom nowadays. So usage of deterministic communication for coordinated multi robot systems and human collaboration has increased the usage of robots nowadays. So to summarize this, time-sensitive network is played an important role in bridging of IT and OT applications, mainly information technology and operational technology. It has given a proper pathway of switching from waiting for a message to real-time systems. Which deliver predictable and real-time communication where every millisecond of communication matters. Uh, okay. So earlier we didn't focus on security much compared to nowadays. So in Ethernets and in many protocols, we have implemented TLS and SSL, means transport layer services and socket secure layers. These has become an industry standard. Means without these protocols, we won't be able to release our products in our society because of security purposes. Similar to what in wired, DTLS is similar to in IoT. So similar to what TLS provides, DTLS provides same thing for IoT based systems, where it sends the communication at an irregular interval. So the backend will won't be able to capture if they are intercepting our communication. So this is where DTLS works in IoT systems, and in modern technology, AES-CCM, AES-GCM, PSK technologies like public shared keys and encryption standards have also been increasing, which provide dynamic passwords for everything in our regular usage. So the balance of strong secure network with efficiency remains a critical challenge nowadays, and we are working on that only. Hmm. So if talking about future, AI enhanced protocols will play a huge role in development of security and development of protocols. Also increasing everything. So, like I mentioned in the previous, dynamic optimization means AI enhanced protocol will give us dynamic patterns, like similar to what cognitive radios are. These AI enhanced protocols will divert network traffic. Like if we are using 20 devices at a similar time, and that hub is not, so they will consider another hub, and then they will communicate to us, and all of this will work dynamically, which was not considered earlier. Also, as we are reaching to quantum age, so post quantum cryptography is must in our life. So we are only working on serial communication nowadays, and as quantum communication increases, we will also need quantum proof technologies to secure it for security. So as thread and matters are universally accepted. Earlier they were not used much, but nowadays even every home and every industry they use smart technologies connected with IoT. So this is where thread and matters. And nowadays that now that we are just focusing on these things, what about the environmental consequences? Sorry, environmental consequences about this. So as the technology is increasing, we also need to focus on environment also. So what are the current challenges? So in nowadays, been talking about 2020s, and security and privacy is a major concern, as we are seeing news everywhere. Like even Microsoft, even CrowdStrike nowadays have been under cyber attacks also. So we need to focus on that also. And standardization lags. So now, earlier we only used 2 to 3 devices in our surroundings. Nowadays we are equipped with 20 to 30 technologies together. So the lag is, so we can easily experience lag. Even when using phones, we consider lag as a very harmful thing to us. So nowadays, if we are using 30 to 40 devices currently, so the lag is important. So we also need to focus on how to decrease these lags also. So the main challenging in creating protocols will be both innovative and interportability of these devices across our ecosystems, and not only to constant to one device only. The future of SIM. So as we are moving forward, we will experience in future morely smarter protocols, which are more adaptive in nature rather than predefined systems, which are adaptive, which work on situation basis. AI-driven systems will also optimize the performance of real-time networks. Quantum safe security, which is must in future, which will provide us resilient encryption methods with withstand quantum computing threats. And also sustainable development. So as we are increasing with number of devices, we will also need to focus on environmental consequences also. So the responsibility of environment is a core principle of protocol development. So to summarize all this, the next generation of protocol will be more intelligent, secure, and environmental conscious. So this will lay a foundation where all the devices are connected sustainably. In conclusion, what are the key takeaways from the paper that I wrote? Is protocol were earlier, will now, and will always be a backbone of our networking systems. So they will as they are increasing, they will also need to focus on performance, security, and efficiency. And systems like TNS, AINS, and quantum safe systems will be the future of our technology. So I would like to end it with this quote. So advancing protocols is not just about speed, it's about enabling the next generation of technologies. Thank you.
Vedansh,
Yes, sir.
I want to know the only one thing that, as
Yeah.
I have seen, you have written, I think this is your first paper.
Yeah, this is my first paper.
Okay, so I think you have made only the review kind of thing of the
Yeah, review
different
kind of thing. Yes,
protocols.
sir.
So, in which direction you want to go in further? Wired,
So,
wireless, or IoT, or
uh,
what is
so
what is your future plan to go in which technology you want to go?
So the main thing that I chose this communication protocol only, as I'm in my final year. So in my fifth semester, we were introduced to a subject called embedded systems. So in
Okay.
this, my interest just grew and grew in communication protocol. So when I started researching on my own, that what are these actually these protocols are. So I didn't find a single resource where I can find the past and future and the present of all these things. So this is why I wanted to summarize, and as of now I'm not particularly keen to like IoT or wireless, but I just want to explore this embedded system
No,
world.
no. What is my question is, what is your future plan? Where you want to
Ah,
go?
so as I mentioned, I'm not particularly interested in
Okay,
a
not
particular
you have
device.
not decided as of
Yeah,
now.
so I am just
Okay,
exploring this communication world, and hopefully I
understood,
will found a thing and
understood,
which interests
understood.
me.
Thank you. Richa madam, can we have the next one,
Yeah,
please?
thank you, sir.
Sure. Thank you so much, dear presenter, for your presentation. And moving ahead to our next presentation, we can call our next presenter. I think Vikas is not in the meeting, so we can shift moving ahead from this presentation. Yes, we can call our next presenters. To present is a paper on cybersecurity in the age of artificial intelligence, emerging challenges of South African SMEs, a scoping review.
Can you see my, hello colleagues, can you see my slides there?
Yes, yes, yes.
Let me try to put them in play mode. Okay. Can you still see them?
Yes, it's visible. It's visible.
Okay. Yes, my name is Moses. I'm in South Africa. I'm a lecturer at Rhodes University. My co-author is Hanifa Abdullah. He's a lecturer in computer science at University of South Africa, one of the biggest universities in South Africa here. Please let me know if I scroll up, do you see that I'm in slide 2? Or I'm still in slide 1?
No,
It
this
is
one,
moving. It is
slide one.
moving. It is moving. No issue.
Okay, so my title is Cybersecurity in the Age of Artificial Intelligence, Emerging Challenges for South African SMEs, a scoping review. South Africa is a developing country which has a potential. We have a lot of SMEs with the advent use of ICTs, and quite a number of SMEs are adopting the technology. The challenge is that in the security, because most countries want to do business with South Africa, SMEs also jump in there. As a way, we have seen that SMEs in South Africa, they contribute quite a lot. 30% of the GDP is from SMEs, and they employ quite a lot. With the changes in the global trade now, we see a lot of these are coming up, and they use quite a lot of technology and the access. And our challenge is cybersecurity. SMEs have never been able to cope with the conventional cybersecurity. With the use of cloud computing, again, it became a bigger challenge. And now we are chasing artificial intelligence, which is can I say, top of the list of the talk. Almost everyone is talking about artificial intelligence. Quite different branches of AI available, but SMEs, remember, they are right there in the doldrums of technology in terms of technical skills and in terms of finance. That is where the problem is. So when I look at the problem of the study here, we see that South Africa is ranked third globally in cybercrime, with the ransomware and phishing on the rise. South Africa, almost everyone is attracted to South Africa. And as a result, there's a flow of money in and out, and these companies, the cyber criminals, they try to hack into the systems. Already, we have a shortage of skills in ICT and also resources. And with the adoption of cloud computing, things have become a bit messy. Vulnerabilities are increasing. And now adding IA. So our challenge is that there are companies which are using AI, which is inherently embedded in the systems which they are using. And some of these organizations may not even know that they are using AI. And as a result, there's a high risk, being that the AI which is being used can also be used by attackers. That's where the issue is, that while you are using AI to benefit the SMEs, attackers can also take advantage of that. And there is a research gap. So because of literature and also a talk about AI people being able to use AI for attacking, like we said, okay, let us just find out, let us test the waters and check the literature. What is it saying about this? And that leads me to my research question and the objective. Our objective was to examine existing literature on how artificial intelligence applications influence cybersecurity practices in SMEs adopting cloud computing. So we want to see if SMEs, those who are adopting cloud computing, how are they going to adapt to the use of artificial intelligence? And then the research question is, how do artificial intelligence applications influence cybersecurity practices in SMEs adopting cloud computing technologies? So we want to see the relationship. So we had to go to the literature so that when we go out for a full-scale research, we at least have an idea of what is happening. What we did with our scoping review, we took some sort of qualitative approach, and we used the 5-stage scoping review framework by ASCII and O'Malley, which was designed in 2005 and improved by to JBI. And the stages are as listed there. That's what we did. We identified literature. After identifying the research questions, what we did was to find relevant studies applying the principles which are in the framework. And then we selected our studies. We used inclusion exclusive criteria, which I'm going to talk about. So from there, this is the search string which we used. Mainly after testing our research question, we used that search string. And what we got was to select, this is the inclusions criteria which we used for selecting eligible studies. We looked at articles from 2018 to 2025, and these were from peer-reviewed, and they were written in English, and they looked at cybersecurity and AI in SMEs. That's what we started. And then the screening process, we used the title, abstracts, and full text. We used Ryan, which is an AI tool for screening purposes, but for analysis, we did it manually. Then our main exclusion criteria was we are much of an English nation, so we took those articles which were written in English, and then they were written. We excluded those ones which were done prior to 2018, and also we're not bothered with articles which were talking about cybersecurity without referencing SMEs. So if they did not have AI, we did not take them. And then we used the Prisma for showing how we did articles. Initially, we extracted 57 articles because we did not find a lot of articles written about South Africa. So we, especially in terms of artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. So through thorough screening, we ended up with 18 articles, of which we felt it was not as big as what we expected. But if we're looking at a global scale, we could have got more than this. These articles are focusing on South Africa, and some of them, they've been done by in other countries, by the way, focusing on South Africa. And then when we charted evidence, this is what we did. We created a charting table as shown below to factor out what we wanted from the data. And then we organized and synthesized following ZA and Dagata 2024. That is the sample of what we did. The bulk, you'll find it in the research paper. Then the findings. We found that there was limited AI use by SMEs. The use was mainly focused on basic operations and not, sorry, I think this one is closing my screen. Okay, oh, what did I do? Sorry. Where is my, I think I've lost the sharing again, sorry. Sharing. Okay. Sorry. I think I pressed something wrong. Let me reshare. Okay, I'm back. Let me quickly go to the screen. Sorry. Okay, I was talking about the findings. There was a we have a skills gap. This is what is appearing in most of our studies. And also the systems in the SMSs, they are fragmented, meaning that there's no coordination. Each and every SMEs tend to use its own. There's low trust of course, on these new technologies. The other thing which we found out is that which features a lot from our literature was SMEs are still lagging in fourth industrial revolutions because of some challenges such as weak leadership, poor funding, and shortage of skilled personnel to utilize new AI apps. The reason is very simple here. Most of the people, we have quite a lot of graduates from universities who are doing computing, but they end up being absorbed by industries or they go to other countries, leaving those businesses, small-scale businesses, not having IT people. So some people might wonder, why is it that South Africa is so many universities, people who are IT specialists are absorbed by industries. So we have heightened cybersecurity vulnerabilities due to low awareness, inadequate policies, and ad hoc practices, which expose SMEs to growing threats. So most of the people who run SMEs are not IT people. And as a result, we still have that problem persisting. And what we found from the literature again was that AI-driven attacks research is currently largely speculative because few empirical studies support these claims, especially when it comes to South Africa. It could be true in other countries, but here in South Africa, there could be those attacks. They be here and there, but they are mainly conventional attacks which are pronounced. So influence of AI apps on SMS cybersecurity practices thinly addressed by existing studies as they focus more on leveraging the technology. So most of the studies which we have found, they are all singing about how SMEs can use AI for business operations and how they can improve their competitive advantage. That's left us in limbo to how we can proceed and conclude the study. And then the conclusion, limited use for cybersecurity purposes. SMEs primarily use AI for business operation, underutilizing it for cybersecurity, which increases their exposure to risks. What we've simply found was that, yes, there's a potential to use cybersecurity to use AI as a service, especially machine learning. But currently, the use of machine learning requires people who are highly technical, who have done data science. Unless we have embedded systems which can do that, as a result, the people who are using AI is mainly for operation, to improve their operations. That's that. Then the barriers to fourth industrial revolution in cybersecurity readiness. There's limited knowledge, skill shortage, fragmented systems again, and weak leadership, budget constraints. So when we say weak leadership, we are simply saying the people who are in the running the SMEs, they are more worried into profit. When they're using technology, they want to use the basic technology so that they can get the maximum profit out of that one, regardless of the fact that they may lose that money through attacks. So cybersecurity vulnerabilities, we have low awareness, inadequate policies again, and ad hoc practices, which leave us highly susceptible to threats. Then the research gap which we have identified, which we are going to pursue, is that we want to actually carry out an empirical, evidence-based research on how AI apps influence cybersecurity practices among South African SMEs, particularly those SMEs which are dealing with the government and maybe public ones, schools, and also maybe quite schools and maybe colleges. How are they affected by that? Then lastly, our the limitations of the study, very simple. Our scope was not big. We focused mainly on South African SMEs, and there's very limited literature available. It's still a gray area. There are some gaps which we need to look at, because most of the people don't look at cybersecurity. They only look at other aspects of SMEs. Then the recommendation, we have started putting together a work to look at a longitudinal study, which we can go out there to the SMEs, which we can actually study and see how they are doing it. And then at the same time, some of these guys, they are so conservative that when you're IT guys, you approach them, at times they will think that you've come to study their systems and try maybe to also hack on them. Thank you very much for the opportunity you provided me to present. You may ask me questions.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
First of all, nice presentation. And I have only one question, that any specific reason that you have selected for SME and specifically for the South Africa?
Yeah, the reason is that we normally want to start small and grow. We know that there are other countries which have similar models in terms of SMEs, especially most of the countries. Some countries like India, Brazil, in the Middle East, we have some of those countries. But we wanted to start with South Africa because that is
see, whatever the threats you have shown, or whatever the threats you have mentioned in the presentation, may affect to other countries also.
Okay, maybe you can tell me. Yes, you can name them, say. I will be happy to look at those ones again.
Please. And thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear presenter, for your presentation. And moving ahead to call our next presenter to present his paper on digital public infrastructure as a driver of innovation, global lessons from the India's tech experience. The paper presenter is Avasthi.
Rita madam, I think Avasthi madam is not there in the meeting.
Any co-author of this paper? Okay, so moving ahead, we can call our next presenter, Muhammad Hasim Kalam, to present his paper on explainable AI for time series, a systematic review of robust and efficient detection of stealthy adversarial attacks.
Yes. Let me screen share. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. Yeah, is my presentation slides visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, cool. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohammad Hashim Kalam, and I am a final year computer science undergraduate in the Informatic Institute of Technology affiliated with University of Westminster. So today I'm presenting our joint review paper co-authored with my supervisor, Mr. Guhanathan Poravi. So our work is a systematic review that explores the intersection between explainable AI, time series, and adversarial attacks. So first and foremostly, the motivation. Why time series? Now, even though time series data is crucial across major domains such as healthcare and finance, when it comes to explainable AI and time series, explainable AI is less research under time series compared to non-sequential data like imaging and tabular data or NLP. This is because time series has a unique property, and that is its complexity of temporal dependencies. And due to this, there's a less research in time series. So that's the main motivation for me to pick this topic. And this systematic review was followed by a Prisma rules, with finally analyzing close to 60 studies published up to June 2025 to find the critical limitations and gaps. So time series adversarial attacks. So first and foremostly, what is an adversarial attack? So adversarial attack is basically applying a small, often imperceptible perturbation into the input data, basically to mislead the model's predictions. So this is basically an attack that is done across crucial domains like healthcare and finance to break or misinterpret the final output. So when it comes to adversarial attacks, there are like different types of attacks we could categorize. One is traditional attacks, traditional slash full sequence attacks. Other one is partial attacks, and also there's a attack called time model specific attack, like time series specific attack. But that is not covered in this slide. Mainly, I focused on time series, full sequence attacks, and partial attacks. So when it comes to full sequence attacks like FGSM and PGD, it basically employs perturbations across the entire time series sequence. Now, while this is effective in misleading the models, they are often relatively easy to detect since it is applied throughout the entire sequence. They leave a noticeable alteration across the sequence. So these types of attacks were proposed like during the year 2020-2021. So as time passes by, there were advanced full attacks such as smooth gradient attack, which blends perturbations seamlessly, making them more subtle than a traditional full sequence attack. But very recently, a more sophisticated attack that has been proposed is the partial attacks, which don't apply attacks to the entire sequence but only to a small portion of the sequence. So why are partial attacks more dangerous? It's because partial attacks, basically extending full attacks such as partial FGSM and partial PGD, which was proposed in the late 2024, they focus on employing only a small part, specifically 1/10 of the most influential sequence. So this localized approach preserved most of the temporal structures without leaving noticeable patterns like traditional full attacks. So by blending with the time series data and targeting only a specific influential sequence, they significantly enhance the stealthiness and evadability of the attacks, often going undetectable, proven by the recent paper which has been tested under 2CB attack. So under that one, they have actually tested with partial attacks and full attacks. So full attacks, most of them were detected, but when it comes to partial attacks, the accuracy dropped down to zero, so which is dangerous. And what is more concerning is since partial attacks has been released and proposed recently, late 2024, and now it's been 2025, The current detection systems mainly are evaluated under traditional full attacks, which raises huge concerns for the security of the high stakes domain. Is because even though partial attacks is not really effective than full attacks, partial attacks still causes a bit of misclassification, which can be a very big issue in terms of crucial domains like finance and healthcare. So obviously there are like detection systems. There are traditional detection systems and there are XAI enhanced detection systems. But let me talk only on XAI enhanced is because XAI has proven to be more effective and reliable in terms of uncovering the model reasoning and detection system, hence detecting more attacks compared to a traditional attack. So when it comes to the XAI techniques, SHAP is the go-to standard due to its superior quality and feature attributions across various domains. Not only a specific domain, it's model agnostic, so it's across various domains. So after reviewing systems and papers, which includes ICS and CLOT, they have either used SHAP alone or a mix of other XAI techniques like LIME and LRP to detect attacks. Although this has been very effective in terms of detecting attacks, it is not really effective in terms of performance wise. Like, for example, the critical issue, the central issue over here is despite their effectiveness against traditional attacks, these XAI methods face major challenges in efficiency and stability. So let's go with SHAP, which is the go-to standard XAI method used in the current detection systems in terms of adversarial attacks in time series. The main issue over here is the computational cost in SHAP. Now, since SHAP uses Shapley value computation, resulting on a O2n exponential complexity, as the features increase in time series data, the time taken for the SHAP values to compute the scores also increase, hindering real-time development. So due to this computational overhead, it makes it unsuitable for real-time detection, especially with high dimensional data slash with high features, which is quite common in critical domains like finance and healthcare. So now just because SHAP has that issue doesn't mean that extensions has solved it. For example, there are extensions like Time SHAP and Windows SHAP, which I found was the most suitable in terms of multivariant. Since there are different types of extensions, they are mainly univariant. So Time SHAP and Windows SHAP supports multivariant, which is my main focus over here. So even though Windows SHAP over here states that it reduces cost up to 80%, it still relies on costly Shapley values, which risks latency in real-time usage. The second main issue in SHAP, and not only SHAP in Lime and whatever, but mainly in SHAP, is the lack of robustness and formal guarantees. So when it comes to lack of robustness, SHAP is susceptible to adversarial noise. In the sense, like if we add small alterations to the data, it drastically alters the explanation without affecting the prediction. So that's an issue when it comes to critical domains, like as I mentioned. Not only robustness and also the formal guarantees, formal correctness. Although the SHAP values generate scores, it is not formally guaranteed. Hence, showed in a recent study, they quantitatively demonstrated that SHAP lacks formal guarantees and exhibits low correlation by using specific matrix. They have used RBO and there are a few other matrix. They have proved that SHAP lacks formal guarantees in terms of truth explanation. So this unreliability is a critical limitation for security and sensitive domains where precise feature attributions are crucial. Now the thing is now in terms of SHAP, which has this issue, LRP is a very good alternative since it offers a better computational efficiency in terms of real-time usage, since we can do a one backward propagation. But the major drawback in LRP is even LRP is lack of robustness and stuff. But the main positive in LRP is the computational cost. It's computational efficiency. But the major drawback is LRP is a white box method inherently tied to the model's architecture. So depending on the model, whether it's an RNN or transformers, it requires model-specific rules to propagate relevance scores throughout the layers. For example, ST-LRP is only for LSTMs. DFT-LRP is tested under MLP and CNN under model-specific rules. And attention LRP is specifically designed for transformers with model-specific rules once again. So this dependence on model-specific rules restricts LRP's adaptability, limiting its deployment as a play and plug XAI solution. Hence why SHAP is the most used since it's an agnostic and play and plug XAI solution. So with the review, we came across actually 4 critical research gaps that maybe future researchers could look on, and that is firstly is computational overhead. So the current detection system, as I mentioned, mainly use either SHAP alone or with other techniques, which is costly and hinders real-time detection. Second thing is the lack of evaluation under partial attacks. Now, since partial attacks is recently proposed, not a lot of systems has actually tested their systems to detect partial attacks, which again hinders security issue when it comes to critical domains. Moving on, the last two gaps are specifically related to the XAI use. So when it comes to XAI use, explanation robustness, as I mentioned, the scores may change drastically when adversarial noises are added, which hinders again security issues in terms of crucial domains. And the last thing is, if the person even tries to use LRP as a solution, as an alternative for the computational cost with SHAP, LRP doesn't have architecture agnosticism. Basically, LRP is model specific, which means if I want to implement it under different architectures, I need to implement separately with model specific rules, which hinders scalability and adaptability throughout the domain's architecture. So the conclusion I would say is there's a critical need for an XF framework that is not only computationally efficient but also robust, specifically tailored for time series, since SHAP and traditional XI methods are favored to non-sequential data. And since time series has something called temporal dependencies, we can't directly apply SHAP or Lime towards time series because it's not temporally aware. That's the third thing. And the final and the last thing is the architecture agnostic, specifically towards the LRP. So what I would say is the future research should focus on extending LRP to not a specific model, but an architecture agnostic approach, so that it actually uses the most important internals from the model, which will end up getting more information, but also be able to adapt to various other models in a plain plug way, which is easier for people and researchers to implement and detect attacks in terms of detecting adversarial attacks. So yeah, that's it for my presentation. If there are any question and answers, we can ask.
Uh, Hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So it was nice presentation, and the question from my side is, how will you collect the data when you are working with the time series? Do you have any idea about the same?
Collecting data in the sense, in the data set side, is that so?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so there are like specific libraries where we could collect data. For example, I'm actually extending this review paper for my research project, and I have actually implemented, and most of the stuffs are done. So I have tested it with like TEP dataset, which has 52 features. So it's a high dimensional data. So there are like public
Okay.
datasets I use to, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, presenter, for your presentation. And moving ahead to call our next presenter. Paper presenter is Shalini Singh to present her paper on financial literacy, inclusion, and empowerment of rural women entrepreneurs, a bibliometric review on the role of incubation center. Any co-author of this paper? Moving ahead, we can call our next presenter. It's Hari Priya. She's not in a meeting. And we can call our next presenter, Parul Sachdeva, to present her paper on product market response evaluation applying user data analytics, a study on breastfeeding equipments.
Hello everyone. Am I audible and is my screen visible?
Yes. Audible.
Yeah. Hello everyone. I am Paru Sachdeva. I am working as an assistant professor in Department of Design at Alliance University, Bangalore, India. And today I'll be presenting my paper on product market response evaluation applying user data analytics. And it will be a study on breastfeeding equipments. So introduction. So I have chosen breastfeeding equipments. Why? Because it's the best source of nutrition for the babies, and it helps to basically build the immune system of a baby, and it's built strong emotional bond between a mother and a child. What I feel is in today's world there are so many products in the market, but we feel that yes, there are certain products which actually needs more and more development in terms when it when we care about the babies, and we feel that yes, babies are very sensitive, and they really need good products whatever we are giving to them. So, and it also supports mother's recovery and emotional well-being. So that is my agenda of for doing a research on this. Plus, what I found when while doing this research, that there is a gap between there is a limited research on the products for these. So I thought of doing it a market survey and doing a proper survey on the research by picking a few products from the online available platforms. So there is rise of breastfeeding equipments. It's growing globally. It has a global focus on maternal as well as the child's health. And there are some development of tools like advanced breast pumps. There are milk storage systems. There are wearable lactation devices. There are mobile apps monitoring. There are technology add features like app connectivity, smart tackling, and discrete designs. Moving next, challenges in current products. So there are multiple products which are that are available in the market. Some of them have technical features, some of them have technical gaps in terms of the designing gap also. So there are certain real issues that are faced by mothers when they use these products. Some of the issues are comfort, portability, ease of cleaning, noise level, and privacy. So these were the certain issues that are already faced by the people who are using it, especially the mothers in this case. So purpose of this study is to have user data analytics to evaluate whatever breastfeeding products we have in the market and whatever equipments we are using. So I have studied these things, these products on various parameters. Like I have done analysis on sales, on the usage, on the ratings, and the price. So multiple parameters is considered for to find the final conclusion. Then identify what truly matters for mothers in choosing their products, and it will also be very helpful for the designers to design a product, how they can improvise on the designing and aesthetic part of it. It can be useful for the marketers on how to market a product and what already those products which are already available in the market, how their marketing is done, and how healthcare professional can create better and user friendly solutions. So this research can help multiple people with multiple roles, and the main goal is to support mothers well-being and ensure healthier outcome is for the babies. So the methodology that I have used here is it's a data-driven study based on breastfeeding equipments. So I have taken eight breastfeeding equipments from the Amazon, and I have collected user ratings, I have collected user feedback, product descriptions, and analysis is done based on the user sentiments and based on the user satisfaction, emotional design, aesthetics, and functionality. And I've prepared an Excel file where all the things, all the parameters are clearly mentioned for all the products. There is then average ratings has been calculated. There are multiple reviews that has been taken into consideration, and what are the common comments that people have made it. Because what I feel is for a product designer, for a product to be really doing good in the market, one thing is very important: user. Because we are designing a product for user, it has to be user centric, it has to be user friendly, it has to be affordable, it has to be user centric in all the perspectives. So I have created perceptual mapping to compare the products based on user satisfaction, based on their functionality, based on the competitive positions and the market gaps. So these are the eight products which I took and did a research on. Then this is my result. So first thing is when I compared ratings versus price versus purchase. So in all of the product 6, as you can see in the graph, it has a highest rating in terms of the purchase, in terms of the ratings and price. Despite of the price, it is moderately placed. Few of the products were less priced, few of the products were more priced, but at the end there is not only about the price, but user compares all the functionality, design aesthetics, comfort, ease of cleaning, multiple features taken into consideration. Product 6 was the top product performing product. Some key features for success was it has a quiet operation which was less intrusive, it has ergonomic design which is less strain and which is easy to use, portable and flexible, easy to clean and easy to maintain. Next thing, I plotted the research on perceptual mapping where I compared price versus purchase. So when the prices of the products were compared with the purchase number of purchases that clients are making on online platforms, uh, I we figured out that product six, in despite of having a high price, it has been moderately placed, but again, it was the best buy. Then next, when I compared rating versus purchase, so higher ratings is equal to more purchase. So the ratings are effectively directly with the product purchases. And in this case also, product 6 performed the best with the highest ratings and with most of the purchases. And success is driven by definitely the comfort, usability, and the positive emotional experience. So for a product, it's not about the product, it's about the emotions also, because the product is very sensitive, and the mother and an infant is using it, so it has to be very emotionally driven as well. The next graph is comparing rating versus price analysis. So many expensive products got lower ratings, and the most thing is user centered design matters more than the cost, where the product 6 was standing out. And it has many rewards, like it has practicality, it has comfort, it is very emotionally satisfying. So overall key takeaways from this research was functionality, emotional design, ease of use, aesthetics plays a major role. So to conclude, in this study, product 6 was a market leader with the highest ratings and the purchase numbers. It is successful due to its quiet operation, ergonomics, aesthetic design, portability, easy cleaning. Some key factors for the success of the product is comfort and usability, and price was more, but again few of the other parameters were higher in terms of what client is actually looking at. And it has very practical features, it was very user friendly, and it has very technically very sounding product. So main takeaway from this study is a product should be a user-centered design in terms of if we are considering it as a product development, and it has to be very well analysis done should be done when I compare with real user data and the sentimental analysis. So prioritizing user needs is very important to have the repeat purchases, to have the better health outcomes. So this is my study till now, and also I'm working on the future scope of it. So when I take about talk about research, so in research, large sample size can be taken, and cross cultural comparisons is what I'm working on. Also, the long term health impact that will be there on the mother as well as on the child. So this is on the research part of it. When I talk about the tech integration, so AI driven personalized recommendations should be there from the platform. So that I'm working on. And also the consumer awareness to educate mother on how to use the product and what is the safety of the product. And lastly, if I want to talk about the product, so how can a product be designed, that I'm working on, to make it more affordable, to make it more user friendly, and to have sustainable materials used in a product, because sustainability is everywhere and we have to maintain this thing in all the products that we design. So sustainable breastfeeding products designing is what I'm working on my next research. Thank you. Any questions, please?
Ma'am, generally, when we are selecting the products from Amazon or Flipkart or any other platforms, the issue with the what I feel like is fake reviews are also there. So, have you considered any thing regarding that?
Yes, while doing this thing, very well said that yes, fake reviews are also there. So I did like numbers were high, and if the repetition was there, I eliminated those repetitions to
Okay,
avoid the fake reviews. So that is what
okay,
I learned from this thing, and then I eliminated as much
okay,
as possible was from my end.
fine. And the number of products that you selected is limited to eight. Any
Yes.
reason for the same? Any
So
specific
to
reason
start
for?
with my research, I thought that 8 would be a good number because I was more focusing on the other parameters. So I wanted to increase the parameters so that I can design a product in future. So that was my start, to have a start with 8 products, but now I am increasing the number in terms of the product also and in terms of the parameters also.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, presenter, for your presentation. And moving ahead to call our next presenter to present his paper on signaling and symbolism, re-accessing the link between risk disclosure and ESG performance.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here today at this conference. Today, I will present our research entitled Signaling or Symboling, Reassessing the Link Between Risk Disclosure and ESG Performance. So the background is, because the ESG in this era metric increasingly central to investment decision, and risk disclosure potentially signaling tool for corporate transparency, especially in emerging market. Disclosure is voluntary and unstandardized, raising credibility issue. So this is raise the key question: does voluntary risk disclosure meaningfully influence the ESG performance? So our research objective is to answer 2 main questions. The first one, we examine the link between risk disclosure and ESG performance of Indonesian policy list firms. And the second one is to assess whether disclosure function as credible signal or just a mere symbol. And this is our theoretical framework. The definition for the first risk disclosure is to refer to the provision of information that outline the significant risks faced by companies and their projected economic consequences on the future performance. And ESG performance in this research measured by also the proxy using ESG score. That is proxy for sustainability and ethical practice, is the numerical measure used to evaluate how well firms are implementing the complementation their ESG goals. And the basic of the theory that we use the first one is signaling theory. The extensive risk disclosure that signal preparedness and resilience, especially to in the investor. And the second one is legitimacy theory, where the company disclose the sustainability disclosure, especially sustainability and risk information in order to gain social and regulatory approval. So the hypothesis development, risk disclosure as the practice of transparency, communicating the risks the company faces, including environmental, social, and governance-related risks, has gained increasing attention in both academic and practitioner domains. In recent years, ESG metrics have evolved into strategic indicator of a firm's sustainability and ethical performance, heavily influencing investor behavior. The ability of companies to identify, articulate, and report ESG-related risk plays a critical role in shaping stakeholder perception and mitigating reputational and financial vulnerabilities. In developing countries such as Indonesia, where risk reporting practice remain largely voluntary and lack regulatory standardization, firms face growing pressure from investors or NGOs and the media to demonstrate responsibility business conduct through transparent disclosure. Previous study argued that greater risk transparency enhance market efficiency and investor trust, while lack of disclosure may reflect weak governance or deliberate capacity. From a signaling perspective, companies that provide more extensive and structured risk disclosure may be perceived as more resilient and better prepared to manage ESG challenges. This positive signaling is expected to be captured by ESG rating agency in their assessment framework, especially as such as a disclosure indicated not only awareness but also strategic alignment with sustainability goals. Given the increasing integration of risk narrative into ESG evaluation, particularly through third-party rating platforms such as Sustainalytics, the following hypothesis is risk disclosure plus positively influence the ESG performance. So this is the research methodology that we collect data and in IDX, this is the platform in Indonesia for publicly listed company. Uh, the number of the data, the number of the firm is 78, and we collect the ESG ratings from Sustainalytics, so via IDX, and the method we use regression models, and the variables independent risk the independent variable risk disclosure, dependent variable is ESG score, which become the measurement for ESG performance. And the control variables are ROA, leverage, size, LPM, cash flow, Tobin skew, and ROE. So this is our content analytic that revealed that interesting pattern. We found that the most firm disclose risk in categories of strategic risk and operational risk. This disclosure were often expressed in a negative tone, highlighting threat and uncertainties. Importantly, we observe that qualitative disclosure dominated while quantitative disclosure were rare. This indicated that risk disclosure is still largely narrative driven with limited precision and measurable detail. So this is the regression result that our regression showed that risk disclosure not significant effect to ESG performance. The coefficient was negative but statistically insignificant. Second, we observed the firm-specific characteristic plays a stronger role. Profitability, leverage, and firm such all has significant positive effect on ESG scores. Third variables such as operating profit margin, cash flow, Tobin skew, and return on equity did not show significant association with ESG score. Second, together, this finding suggests that internal firm characteristics are more reliable predictors of ESG outcomes than voluntary disclosure practice. So how do we interpret this? One explanation is that in emerging market, disclosure is often just symbolic rather than substantive without strong regulation, especially in Indonesia, and no standardized frameworks. Investor may discount this voluntary disclosure as lacking credibility. In contrast, internal firm characteristics matter more, such as profitability has a positive and significant effect. Leverage is also positive and highly significant, and first size is a positive. This result suggests that ESG scores are shaped more by company fundamental than by disclosure alone. So in conclusion, our study showed that voluntary risk disclosure does have significant influence ESG score among Indonesian firms. Instead, ESG performance is more strongly associated with firm fundamentals such as profitability, leverage, and firm size. This finding raises doubt about the signalling power of voluntary disclosure in emerging market. Therefore, recommended that regulator and companies improve disclosure standard to enhance credibility and comparability. And also for future study, we suggest that use longitudinal and comparative approach and explore qualitative aspect of disclosure. In short, improving disclosure standard and linking them with sustainability strategies remain essential for making risk communication a credible driver of ESG performance. Okay, thank you.
Good presentation. I have one question. Which are the parameters that you have used for this study?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Which are the parameters that you have used for this study?
The parameters for use?
Ah,
Okay. So the parameters for risk disclosure is we gather in the report annual reports, and we collect the keyword for risk, and we tabulate the data. But for the risk for the ESG scores, we use like the independent company to collect the score. It's called the sustainability.
and how many companies you have contacted, or how many companies' data you have collected?
78 Indonesian analysts.
78.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Propper.
Thank you so much, presenter, for your presentation. And moving ahead to our last presentation, to present his paper on user data analytics for prediction of business impact due to cyber crimes in India, learning for literature and metadata.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible as well as my presentation is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Thank
Yes.
you. First of all, I would like to acknowledge the chair, Dr. Popat here, as well as all the colleagues, panelists here, as well as thank you, organizer, for giving this opportunity. From my first slide, I mean, you can see somebody's watching us. And that is basically our core idea of starting, or the core motive of starting this research. Because when I'm saying somebody's watching us means the Indian economy. And certainly the Indian economy has to be an organized crime. And certainly if it's a organized crime, it has to be there has to be a structured impact. And when we are talking about a structured impact on the economy, there has to be a pattern of the impact on the Indian digital economy. And therefore, all the panelists, I, Dr. Devanjan Kuntia, a faculty of criminology from Alliance University, Bengaluru, on behalf of my co-researchers, Professor Anirban, as well as Dr. Shubhra, I present this research paper, User Data Analytics for Prediction of Business Impact Due to Cybercrimes in India, Learnings from Literature and Metadata.
Sir, sorry, but can you please make it in a presentation mode?
Oh, sorry.
No
Thank you,
issues.
sir. I hope this is fine now.
Yeah, yes, sir. Perfectly fine.
Thank you, Doc. So, basically, the whole, I mean, I'll try to give a summary. So what we are looking at is analyzing cybercrime's multifaceted impact, not only just one impact, but a structure of impact on India's business environment across 4 dimensions we have taken, that is economic ecosystem disruption, revenue growth impact, innovation impediments, as well as employee welfare implications. These are 4 dimensions that we looked at. Some of the key findings that we saw that this year we are projecting around 20,000 INR, 20,000 crores of loss to the Indian digital economy. Banking sector is getting impacted by INR 8,200 crores. Retail sector impact 5,800 crores. As well as there are manufacturing delays as well as innovation impact. And this is basically what we are going to discuss in this presentation. While looking at the problem statement when we were making it, what we found is that it won't be wrong to say that India's digital economy is actually under siege or under a grave threat, because India has an digital economy ambition of US dollar 1 trillion. However, it has been has been jeopardized. Cybercrime cases, for example, why it is happening, because you can see since 2014, the cases have risen 709 times. That is huge. And of course, like as I have already said, business losses projected is 20,000 crores of this year. So what are we looking at is basically the critical vulnerabilities, the SME exposure. For example, one of our co-panelists, Moses Moyo, also looked at the SME exposure in South Africa. The same is there in India as well. 73%, prioritize cyber security, but they lack resources. So imagine 73% of they are in direct threat. Operational impact are there. 31% manufacturers report delivery delays. 22% firms experience IP thefts. 42% mobile threats target personal data, as well as 42% cybersecurity talent shortage is there. So from this, you can easily see that, why this question is so important. Now, we worked on 4 research questions. Uh, uh, how does cybercrime disrupt business ecosystems in India? What is the impact of cybercrime on revenue growth and operational continuity? How does cybercrime impede product innovation and R&D? What are the implications for employee privacy and workplace safety? And how can we predict business loss? Uh, of course, like this is one of the aspect, 26, but of course, we are looking at further as well. For this particular research work, we have taken, or this is based on two theoretical frameworks. One is routine activity theory, that is like that examines criminal opportunities in digital ecosystems. Whether it is, there is any insider threats. What about suitable targets because of weak cybersecurity systems, and any inadequate monitoring is there. The second theoretical framework that we took, that is the techno stress theory. The first one, routine activity theory, is basically it's part of sociology of crime, and the second one is psychology of crime. So this is basically a socio-psychological framework that we have taken to analyze the threat and cyber threats. So techno-stress theory is basically that analyzes cyber threat impacts on the employees. That is also we were interested in. Now, the sources that we have taken for our research is NCRB cybercrime statistics, RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India's financial sector breach reports, CERT in adversaries, Ministry of Home Affairs reports, and Quick Heal crime reports as well. Now, what approach we have taken for this study is a correlational and predictive meta-analysis has been conducted. And the predictive analysis conducted basically plotting linear trend line and proportion-based computational techniques. And out of that, then we took out some commonalities or some important vectors, basically. Now, how we validated, we interviewed a lot of people from different sectors, as well as we had a very extensive discussion with cybersecurity academics in India, as well as we used triangulation across data sources. Now, what are the results? First of all, the financial impact analysis. Within that, like we saw 4 primary damage vectors. The first one was direct financial losses. For example, banking, 187% increase in fraud incidents since 2020. I mean, since the COVID hit the world. So 187% of increases there in the fraud cases. The average loss to banking sector is rupees 22 lakh per incident, and that is a very high amount in India. E-commerce, if we tend to look at 12% revenue loss post breach. There were a couple of like startups we approached, and they told us that, like, yes, there was around 12 to 14% of revenue lost the moment they are hit with a cyber attack. And recovery time is very high. You can see it's around 3 to 6 months for sales recovery, and many times it doesn't happen also. Now, regulatory compliance costs are also very high. The companies are spending 1.8 crores of for data localization, as well as the DPDP Act 2023 compilation requirements. They make it. I mean, if any company violates, there's a provision of 250 crores per violation, the cost, the fine. So that's also very high. Of course, insurance. Market is also being impacted, 300% rise since COVID times. The premium, basically, I'm talking about. For example, earlier, a company used to, pitch in around 15 lakhs, rupees 15 lakhs on premium. That now has gone up to rupees 50 lakhs. So you can understand how, the costs have gone up because of so much of security data theft. And of course, like there's the deductibles of 5 crore per pricing, and that is basically if there is an issue, you have to pocket in 5 crores. And now, of course, SMEs cannot afford that. So therefore, they are, like at the grave threat, SMEs especially in India. Market valuation, if you see, this is again direct financial loss. Stock prices declined 7.5% post breach, and recovery again, as Ad has said, takes up to 4 months. And documented cases, I mean, you can see, and these are documented cases. We have taken in our research, rupees 3,200 crore of market cap loss. And what is the recovery? You can see, nothing, 85 lakhs only. So we can understand how grave the threat is. Then, of course, we found operational disruptions. There's a supply chain vulnerabilities. Uh, there's a production loss. Halts of 11 days average from ransomware whenever there is a direct hit. There is a delayed shipment of 47 crores. That's a huge loss as well. There is also emergency costs are 8 times the normal air freight rates. If there is a delay, if they are sending it through, urgent basis, then they have to, spend in 8 times the normal fare. And of course, like the impact rate is in India is like 78% of businesses experience supply chain incidents, at least one incident in 2023. So 78% of the businesses in India, like as per the RBI document, very, very high. Now, of course, there are ERP deployment efficiency losses are also very high. Uh, Further, you can see customer trust erosion. 35% post breach. We also find transaction failure of 8 to 12% of legit transactions. So this is all part of, how whole, the cyber attack takes a toll on the Indian economy. And of course, like on R&D extension, you can see, it's the costs are very high. Cost is not only in terms of financial loss, but also the time loss. There is also human capital consequences if you tend to look at. For example, the most targeted system in India of cyber attack is HR systems targeting, basically. Now, BFSI sector, for example, banking, finance sector, one of our person who our respondent told us from the banking sector that 3 biometric data breach attempts per quarter. 3 biometric, imagine, not, I'm not talking about one person, but biometric database. They're 3 times per quarter. Imagine like how much they have to pay in as well as in the time and other things. And of course, payroll diversions affects 1 in 8 Indian companies. Like, for example, if the employer is, spending the, giving the salary, it is going to some other's account. That is like 1 in 8 Indian companies are facing this issue. And of course, consequently, the productivity loss are there. Daily authentication time, some of these startups in Bengaluru, we checked, and they told us 45 minutes per employee, which is being wasted daily because of authentication and securing the systems. And of course, security training allocation is also 3 to 5% of total work hours of the companies. And of course, compliance documentation, 30% of engineering time in startups, especially because if they don't, if they fail in the compliance issues, of course, the costs are very high fines. So imagine 30% of the productive time is getting into authentication. Now, of course, because of this, what is happening? Employee privacy anxiety. 73% of, interviewed professionals, our respondents, they told us that they have this privacy anxiety, especially when they are, getting into a new company. Healthcare impact, one of our healthcare respondent told us that the nurses, especially in their hospital, most of them are quite anxious in accessing the digital documentation because of the breach of fear. And that's hospital is a big hospital in Bangalore. Now, what is happening? Because of this, there are a lot of delays, right? And of course, there are many, I mean, all these things are connected. And of course, like there are talent acquisition challenges as well. I mean, for example, if you are trying to, hire these companies when they are hiring some senior person, especially a cyber security expert or something. They are first of all, they take around 8 to 12 months to hire, and then I mean, the salaries are very high, almost four times the rate is. So these are many costs. Of course, there are cybercrime district. These are the analysis, I mean, that we found. Cyber attack, I mean, cyberbullying, stalking is 27%, fake impersonating profiles are 21%, profile hacking 20%, and cheating by impersonation is 15%. And of course, you can also see the threat vectors, that is email phishing, or like the quick heal, for example. We understood that there is around 369 million distinct malware detected. Imagine so much of threat is there. Now, this is basically the predictive analysis results. I mean, what is going to happen? Predicted cases in 2026, it is about 29,000 incidents that, as per research that we are, as when we accumulated all the data as well as interviewed people. So this is basically 29,000 incidents that we project that could be reported in the next year. And of course, like the total business loss you can see is over 27,000 crores. This year, I mean, we have projected is 20,000. Next year, it's going to increase. So therefore, I mean, this is also like, industry wise, basically. BFSI, if you tend to look at, there is a 240% increase since 2021, and that is account takeover fraud. UPI, RTGS, all you can see, health sector, medical record, black market value has tripled since 2020. Ransomware downtime is 19 days average. E-commerce, again, like fake seller accounts, 12 to 15% of marketplace vendors are there. Loyalty point frauds are there. Then in manufacturing sector, 320% surge in 2021. So these are basically, I mean, certain, things industry-wise. If we tend to look at policy and compliance challenges, of course, like we have a lot of things to be done in policy and compliance side, not getting into a lot due to paucity of time. But certainly, I mean, I would like to talk about at last the strategic recommendations. Policy enhancement has to be there. I foresee operational capacity has to be strengthened. IT Act 2000 has to be made stronger. Regulatory coordination has to be there. Because there are so many regulatory bodies has to be come under one single umbrella, and there has to be technology solutions as well. For example, deploy AI-driven security systems and implement automated threat response as well. That will certainly help a lot of time.
Sorry to interrupt, dear presenter. You have last 1 minute to conclude.
Sure. Sure. Thank you. So just concluding. So therefore, I mean, this is a roadmap that we had made. I mean, immediate action, of course, strengthen CERT capabilities. Short-term goals are basically deploy AI-driven threat detection, and long-term is, of course, like beyond 1.5 years, is achieve comprehensive cyber resilience. So anyway, so I'll try to conclude here. And thank you so much. This is us, Dr. Devanchan, Dr. Anirban, and Dr. Subra. Thank you so much. Any questions or any feedback? We'll be more than happy.
A nice presentation, Doctor. Only one thing I would like to throw a light, means I want to know about your views about how AI will affect your study. I hope,
Yes, sir.
at last you have said that, so from that I have picked up this question that how
Yes,
how
Dr.
AI
Kalpesh, I mean,
will,
yes. AI is certainly, I mean, we are looking at AI as one of our variable that it is an enhancer of our work as well as a threat.
because
Because
what I feel is nowadays, if you ask ChatGPT or any other AI machine, AI-based tool to generate this kind of threat, it will be easily able to generate.
yes, yes.
And it will be the most difficult thing for us in the near future. That is what I feel.
Absolutely, absolutely, sir. And because many of our respondents, especially in the startups, they told us that they actually have found some young employees making use of AI to come up with the weak points in the like in the new startup, especially in their ERPs, the loopholes. So they were caught how to, I mean, they were using AI to find out what are the loopholes in a particular ERP. So
So
yes, I
that would be
completely
the
agree.
biggest, I think, risk for Indian economy as well as
Absolutely.
banking sector also, that
Yes.
it will create a biggest issue in the near future. That is what I feel as of
Absolutely.
now.
Yes, sir. It is, sir. It is. It's a big threat, and that is exactly what our next step of research is to, like spread into this particular direction to look at how AI is being used and what are the, like the major points of pain in this particular thing for different sectors. So yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, presenter, for your presentation. And now we have one presenter, Avasthi. Are you ready for your presentation?
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
And there's a one request, presenter, and
Yeah.
please make a quick presentation. Actually, we have very limited time.
Yes, sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah, please, thank you.
Yeah. So, welcome everyone. Today, I and Dr. Disha are presenting on digital public infrastructure as a driver of innovation, global lessons from the India Stack experience. So, India Stack is a government-led, open and interoperable digital system that has transformed sectors like finance, healthcare, and e-commerce, making services more accessible and efficient. So by examining how India built and scaled this digital ecosystem, we can draw important lessons for other countries seeking to use this technology for inclusive growth and innovation. So next. Yeah. So basically this DPI basically refers to the core digital systems that act as public services. So we are basically looking at examples of India like Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker, ONDC. So we analyzed the documents during the COVID-19. So where DPI became more resilient.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you please make it full screen because I'm not able to, it is not properly visible.
Yes, sir.
Can you do it in a presentation mode, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is it fine, sir, now? Are you able to see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So basically, we have looked at examples like Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker, and ONDC during the COVID-19, where countries with strong DPI were more resilient, and they were enabling fast cash transfers and uninterrupted services. So basically, when we look at India stack, there both these three in Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker, and ONDC were modular, which lowered cost and encouraged new ideas. So built as public goods with open APIs, it allowed more private companies to join in. For example, over 500 million new bank accounts were created thanks to the Jan Dhan Aadhaar UPI connection. So very innovative, advancement. Similarly, when you look at the policy and the institutional design of DPI also, it is very innovative. It comes from the 2015, Aadhaar Act, which made biometric EY-KYC possible, which helped cut down fraud. So UPI, when it is built on new handles, it became the world's largest number of real-time digital payments. So it stored more than 80 crore verified student records, making it easier for learners to access their documents. So even when you talk about ONDC also, it was working for online shopping, making it more open and fair, reducing dependence on big players like Amazon and Flipkart. So groups like iSpirit, along with public-private partnerships, also played a big role in shaping this digital system. So now if we look at the sectoral innovations, very important innovation was fintech, which handled over 10 billion transactions every month and also supported small loans, insurance, money transfers between people. So it brought out a new model itself that is inclusive and brought in new business models. Similarly, when we looked at healthcare also, we had National Digital Health Mission and Aadhaar linked health IDs, which made records very easy. The e-Sanjeevani had already enabled more than 120 million online doctor consultations and health records also, which could be shared across systems. Similarly, when we look at e-commerce, it also created a very open online marketplace, helping small business models and local kirana shops also to get digital visibility and compete with bigger players. So now looking at the conceptual framework and also understanding whether DPI is an innovation catalyst, we understood there are 5 layers to it. One is the input layer, which talks about policies, funding, government, how government set the foundation. Second is the infrastructure layer, where I talked about all the Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker. Similarly, third layer is basically access layer, where you can open APIs, develop tools that let people build on it. Similarly, innovation layer, which is like the incubation centers which are being opened in different educational platforms. Similarly, new firms, products, services. Similarly, the last layer is the impact layer. How could the socio-economic outcomes, bring in more inclusion, lower cost, better efficiency, and new jobs? So feedback loop also helps here to make the system flexible and also keep on improving. Similarly, we also found certain challenges and constraints when we understood the analysis part. Basically, we understood there is a digital divide here, considering India as a country where we were studying this. Many rural areas still face poor internet and low digital skills and high costs. Similarly, the data privacy was another issue. Without strong data protection law, people's information can be at risk. Similarly, platform monopolies. Very important, criteria which we understood was big companies may dominate and they control the systems overall. Similarly, there is uneven adoption. Some states adopted faster than the others and creating a regional gap altogether. So some global lessons which we brought out from our study was basically India follows a hybrid model. Basically, public sector sets the vision while the private players build and run it. So in the US, it is mostly private-led. When it comes to China, it is fully state-controlled. So India treats DPI like a public good, just like roads, power, or railways. So everyone can use this. So which is a good thing. This model can be adopted by other developing countries also for inclusive digital growth. Similarly, it also provides some future research directions. Like we need long-term studies, how DPI affects jobs, inclusion, entrepreneurship. We should also look at global examples like Brazil's PIX, which talked about digital payments, Australia's CDR, where data rights was an important criterion, Bhutan's digital ID, which was again inspired by Aadhaar. Similarly, we should also look at algorithm-based governance. and risk of how powerful groups are taking up control. Similarly, how DPI can support a more fair and inclusive digital future for not only the citizens but also the upcoming generations. Similarly, here again, India Stack also shows some government-led connected systems which can drive innovation. So it has worked well in the case of fintech, healthcare, and e-commerce. But there is also a caution which comes in, like governance, inclusion, privacy, which needs careful attention. So India's experience offers both a model and a warning for other countries. So, sir, I would like to conclude by saying that, India Stack can be seen as a catalyst, but also gives us a few cautions for adoption. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
I don't have any questions for actually this topic. That's why.
Yes.
Sorry, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, presenter, for your presentation.
Thank you.
And in this session, we have one previous presenter is Vikas.
Yes.
Vikas, are you going to present?
Yes, I would like to present for this particular session.
Yeah, please. You may please start your presentation to present his paper on charting crime opportunities and challenges in the age of predictive analytics.
Sir, I am Haripriya from Keli Technological University, Hubli. And the topic title includes FPGA implementation of AES algorithm. And the contents are introduction, literature survey, methodology, implementation, and conclusion. And the introduction. Introduction is AES is a most popular security algorithm which is used currently in many applications such as WhatsApp messages, in which messages are end-to-end encrypted, ATM and online transactions. Now AES and it is a symmetric key algorithm in which one key is required for both encryption and decryption process. In that case, key must be same for both of the processes, and it is developed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, that is NIST, in the year of 2001, and it uses various key lengths to provide protection against unauthorized access, and it is also a block cipher since it performs operation on bytes of data rather than on bits. Next includes objectives. Objectives include confidentiality, means the information remains private by transforming plain text into ciphertext, and it cannot be read without providing the correct key. Means correct key should be provided to transform the information from plain text to ciphertext, and it provides strong security. Means it uses a robust 128-bit key to provide strong protection against brute force attacks. It also uses efficiency. Means it is designed to execute quickly, and it will be used to maintain minimal system resources, making it suitable for everything from servers to embedded services and smartphones. Simplicity and flexibility, means it provides a clean and simple design. It will be easy to implement and support for multiple key sizes. Next includes block diagram of AES. AES is consisting of two processes, encryption and decryption. Since we have processed with encryption, it consists of 11 rounds, in which each round will be of 4 transformations, excluding last round, which will be of 3 transformations. And the plain text and the key will be provided by the user, which is of 128-bit size, and plain text and cipher key will be of converted into state matrix, which is for the following calculations. Next includes the following transformations, that is substitute bytes. In case of substitute bytes, the S box is fetched from the NIST document, which is fixed, and the Each byte in the plain text will be substituted by the corresponding S box, and the updated S box will be given as the updated state array will be given as the input to the next transformation. Next includes shift rows, where in shift row the 0th row will be unchanged, and remaining first row will be left circular shifted by 1 byte. Second row will be left circular shifted by 2 bytes, and third row will be left circular shifted by 3 bytes. Next transformation is mixed columns. In mixed columns, the matrix is fixed. Taken between state array, the state array will be given as input to the next following transformations. Next includes add round key. Add round key, a simple XOR operation is performed between the state array and the round key, which is generated by the key expansion algorithm. Now includes key expansion algorithm. How the keys will be generated will be known by the following diagram. In key expansion algorithm, 4 cross 4 128-bit key will be converted into 4 words, which is of 32 bits, and each word, last word will be given to the G function. In that, G of W3 will be XORed with the W0, and the answer of that will be XORed with the next word, that is W1. Similarly, that operation will be happened for all the rounds, which generates 44 words for 11 rounds. And how the word will be generated. The G function will be operated in this case. G function will be operated by each word will be consisting of 4 bytes. Each byte will be left circular shifted by 1 byte, and each byte will be substituted by the S box value, and the substituted S box value, substituted bytes will be XORed with the rounds constant value to generate a new word. Next includes simulation part, where simulations were done for all the transformations like substitute bytes, shift rows, mixed columns, and add round key. And the integration of all these have been done and integrated to the top module. This has been our software simulations. Now comes with hardware. Since we have implemented on ChipScope, so which is a virtual simulator, so in that case, we have implemented transmitter and receiver module to ensure the key transmitted has been encrypted correctly. And in this case, the receiver bit is 1, which ensures, in the receiver and transmitter bit 1 ensures that the key has been transmitted correctly. And the conclusion is it is highly secured algorithm, which is used in most real world applications like Wi-Fi, WhatsApp, data protection, and in case of internet devices. Thank you, sir.
Madam, may I know the usefulness of your this work? Means I'm not able to get where is the application for this algorithm? Because AES
It
is
is
the
used
ready-made
in-
algorithm.
Sir.
AES is the ready-made algorithm,
Yes, sir.
and you are using the same. Then what
sir.
is the use of it? Means what is the novelty of your work?
Since everyone will not be knowing about this algorithm, sir, so we have implemented to give the knowledge and to gain the knowledge for us also. Since we have also not known for before. After implementing this, we have got to know that even WhatsApp messages are end-to-end encrypted, and in case of ATM, when we enter a correct pin, then only the money will be transacted. In that case, this will be helpful. By the knowledge of this, we came to know this will be helpful for many real world applications.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, presenter.
Okay,
And
ma'am.
now we can call Vikas.
Hello. Am I audible to the participants?
Yes, you're audible.
I hope the slides are visible. So my
Yes.
topic is the paper is on charting crimes, predictive analysis opportunities and challenges. In this, we have presented a secondary study of what are the challenges which are there. And so in crime prediction, as we all know, this is a data-driven method in which the statistical model is integrated with from the statistical model, the data is taken and computational techniques are applied on which the classification is done for decision making by the machine learning approaches to analyze the pattern and trend in the crime behavior. So the objective is to predict based on different kind of data whether a particular area or a particular nature of persons or particular data driven statistic will be prone to crime, or whether so there would be a scale on which it would be measured. So in crime prediction, it requires the collection of historical crime data for gathering the previous data, extracting the features, inferring the predictive model, making the uh, uh, police inferring the predictive model, and then the decisions are to be given to the law enforcement agency. So what they want to understand from that particular decision, so whether they want to take that decision or not, and then based on those decisions the policing strategies are being applied, and then new kind of data is being generated because the decisions have been taken on the ground, and from there new kind of data would be collected, and then the feedback is given to the again to the training data. And this is a cyclic, it works in the cyclic fashion. So there are different importance of this particular tools. These predictive tools are required for the enhanced security, and they would have they would require resource allocation for identifying the hotspots, uh, uh, anticipating the potential criminal activities which may happen at some particular places, deploy the resources for. So if the police has, because it has a law enforcement is a limited resources, so what would be the effective areas where to deploy these is also they would, this particular techniques would helpful, also will be helpful for the law enforcement agencies. So where to allocate the resources effectively, and then in proactive strategy it would be very useful to prevent the crimes. For these, there are different challenges which are there in the form of algorithmic biases. There have been instances by NYPD, LAPD, and some European countries also. They implemented this approach, and there were like algorithmic biases based on the color of or race of the individual. The system performed biased. Then there are data reliability issues, also privacy concerns and limited generalization. These models cannot be generalized for like if we have for one particular state, or it can be implemented all across the different geographical or racial boundaries. So then there are, in this particular work we have listed the different challenges and what can be the probable solutions which are there. We had also listed the different countries or states where these kind of approaches have been implemented. What was the feedback from the public, the public, the enforcement agencies, and in what were the effects on the judicial system also. So basically there was an issue of biasness, skewedness of or income due to skewedness or incomplete historical data. There can be biasness to based on the racial groups which impacted the decision making, and the solution can be the rebalancing of the data sets. Then there were issues with the privacy also, because large scale data collection is there from different sources, and the sources may be like in the countries like China, where there is this the government is having very much control there. They are taking every kind of data, and they have like social security index also for each citizen, and then they take the decision on whether a particular policy should be given to that particular individual or not. So this raised the privacy concern, whether the data which has been shared won't be used by a particular organization or not. So there is a concern with privacy. And then there are legal and technological challenges also, because at present the using the AI for predicting tools and those, the legal framework has not been defined in the also not in India and various other countries also. So so that has to be cleared before using these particular techniques and technologies. And the technological challenges is that we have a very limited data. Even the data which is presented, which is along with the law enforcement agency, if you try to gather it, it has been anonymized in, so it has been like collected in, and like detailed data which we require has not been available, is not been provided easily for the research. Even if that has been provided, there is a risk of privacy issue, so it has to be anonymized, and then we have to use that particular data, which may be skewed in nature to in its prediction. And so there are solutions like in synthetic data can be generated based on the original data, but that has other disadvantages also, and its limitations are there. So we have presented a view of this all in detail in this paper. And in conclusion, I would just give that the predictive policing, it has a promising future. And we may have seen this in various movies that has been used, that okay, profiling is being done on a particular individual, whether it is doing a crime or not, it predicts, the centralized system predicts that. But it requires to be transparent, and it should be adaptable based on the needs of the law enforcement agencies and the geographical national boundaries, what they are there. It should not be like a particular company is there that is providing product for a particular nation, and that can also be adopted on other nation or different states. So it won't work in that particular fashion. And the technology, when it is given to law enforcement agency, it should be responsibly used, and both for the safety for the public, and also the public should have a kind of have a safety, like it should have trust in the law enforcement agency which is using this technique and technologies. So that was like a brief of our paper. So if there are any queries, I would welcome them. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, Vikas sir, for the presentation.
Yes.
Richa madam, can we conclude the session, please?
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, presenter, for your presentation. And now we can conclude this session. I sincerely thank our author for the excellent presentation and contribution in this session. All our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on a behalf of the whole team, thank you for the support during this fourth version of and the previous three version of this conference. We will be happy to have you in a fifth version in 2026. All the present would be getting digital certificates within 2 working days by email, and the publication will be live 7 to 8 months. Kindly cooperate with the team of ISBM. I also thank our chair of this session, Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time and valuable presence.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. And I would like to request to everyone, please turn on the camera for me taking the quick snapshot for making this virtual conference more memorable. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, sir.